Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. Today we are filming a video all about liver detoxification. So again, this was one that was requested inside our Facebook community, so our CULTIVATE Health and Beauty community. Yes. So if you guys want to join and request videos that you want to see, you can head on over to the link in the description bar below. But yes, so today we're talking all about detox. And we've got 8 tips for you guys for effectively supporting liver detox. But I think before we jump in, we just want to have a little chat about what detox is, what it isn't, and sort of dispel some of the, I wouldn't say myths, but kind of... Detox gets a lot of flack. Like some people are like, it's not true, it's a myth.
Yeah, and I think it comes off a little bit gimmicky as well because there are so many products making promises around detox and cleansing.
A lot of like laxative teas and things like that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of programs as well which are a little bit extreme, which people have bad experiences with. So basically at the end of the day, detox is a natural process, and it's basically the process of eliminating toxins from our body. And we encounter toxins every single day, whether we leave the house or not. It's in the air, in the water we drink, in the food we eat. It's really inevitable.
Yeah.
So our liver works hard as sort of our primary detox organ, basically filtering and flushing out all of those toxins to keep us healthy. And these days we have so many added toxins from our environment, from air pollution, different runoff and pesticides in our water and our food. So it's really important to kind of go that extra step and support detox in a mindful way.
Yeah, so when we talk about detox, we're talking kind of primarily about 2 phases in the liver. So phase 1 is where we activate those toxins, so they temporarily become more reactive, which can be a little bit damaging, but we'll talk about that a bit later on. And then secondly, we have our phase 2. So that's basically where we bind these toxins and we excrete them from the body. So through our digestive tract, through our sweat,
through our breathing,
and obviously our kidneys.
Yes, so one way that you can think about phase 1 and phase 2 is really simple. So basically phase 1 is like you're taking out the trash, getting it ready, and then phase 2 is like the trash man coming and taking it away. So it's really, really important that we support both phases, because one thing that's quite common with different programs is sort of a lack of support for phase 2, which is really important to get phase 2 right, because we don't want to activate all these extra toxins in the body and then sort of fail to take them away, because then we end up even more toxic. So keeping that in mind, we're going to jump into our 8 tips.
So tip number 1 might seem a little bit obvious, but it is all about reducing our toxin exposure. So it's all well and good to be doing things to kind of amp up the liver and support those detox pathways, but if we're still being exposed to dozens of different toxins, our burden is still going to be high.
Yeah, well, our liver becomes really sort of overwhelmed, and that's when we get a buildup of toxins, and yeah, it's just so easy to start eliminating different things by improving our lifestyle and making it healthier. So a few of the things that come to mind right off the bat are eating organic as much as possible, especially where it counts with that dirty dozen, and then also drinking filtered water and changing up household products and switching to green beauty. Is there any other main ones you can think of?
Oh, there's so many. I mean, we could talk about it for ages. There's off-gassing furniture, the cookware that you use.
It's heaps, but if you head to our podcast and our blog, these are subjects we talk about a lot, especially green beauty we talk about a fair bit, and we have a podcast where we chat about all our favourite brands and things, and we are planning content in the future about keeping your house clean but with nice organic or healthy products. So just about kind of detoxing your environment and your life.
The other thing, while we're kind of like talking about the blog, there is a full blog article on this topic, so on detoxification, over on the blog, so you can head over there to check it out. So we go into a little bit more detail, and then also in the podcast episode that we're doing on this same topic as well.
Yes, so this week we've basically launched this video, a full podcast where we can talk in a bit more detail, and the blog post where you can read it all out as well, so it's all kind of in a neat little bundle. So definitely head to the links below and you can read more. So our second tip to support detoxification is to actually support the gut. So we talk about gut health so much on this channel, and of course over in our Get Glowing online community, so our gut healing program. But when it comes to supporting detox, the role of the gut is kind of twofold. So the first piece is around motility. So if you think about phase 2 and the fact that we need to excrete those toxins through the bowel is one of those main pathways, and it really is a problem if we're constipated and having issues with gut motility.
So one reason why having constipation or poor motility can be a big problem when it comes to our detoxification is that those toxins that are excreted into our bile and then into our poop can be reabsorbed through the bowel.
So it's not just that they're not getting out, they're kind of recirculating, which can play into hormonal imbalances in a big way as well. So when we're not excreting estrogen in particular, we can have estrogen dominance for women. So motility is huge. And the second piece is around leaky gut or toxicity in the gut. So oftentimes if we have gut inflammation and leaky gut, that can really play into increasing our toxic exposure.
So when it comes to supporting our gut, we like to go back to basics first. So make sure that you're drinking enough water and make sure that you're eating enough fiber, so including lots of fibrous vegetables in your diet to provide bulk and to kind of just get things going. And if you've already done those things, you can also look at adding in, for example, a magnesium supplement, which can really help people with their bowel motility. And of course, there are a number of other different herbal supplements and nutritional supplements that you can try.
Yeah. And for leaky gut, if you're suspecting that you have a leaky gut, we also have heaps of video content and articles over on our blog which talk about that in detail. And of course, we also have Get Glowing online, which we'll link down below. But some of the main things that you can do there is, number one, focus on eating a whole foods and paleo style diet. And second is to make sure you're incorporating probiotics into your everyday. So that's really going to help to support a healthy gut lining and get you back on track, because processed foods and a lack of probiotics is really a problem.
It's kind of the big drivers of that leaky gut. So our third tip for supporting detoxification is to incorporate antioxidants. So as we spoke about a little bit earlier, during phase 1 of our liver detox, we activate toxins, and this can kind of temporarily cause some oxidative stress. To combat that oxidative stress, we want to be eating heaps of antioxidants. So antioxidants basically protect our cells by kind of quenching that fire.
So we want to make sure we're eating plenty of good vegetables and fruits that are high in vitamins A, C and E. And then we can also look to polyphenols, which are really potent antioxidants. So think of things like your green tea and even dark chocolate.
And then some of our favorite sources of antioxidants that are like really high up on the list is like our berries, our blueberries, blackberries.
And even citrus are very good, especially for vitamin C. So make sure you're basically eating the rainbow, because every different color of fruit and vegetable has something different to offer, and it's all going to help your liver detox. So tip number 4 is probably a little bit unexpected when we're talking about detox, but it is to make sure you're eating sufficient protein. So when we talk about phase 2, where we're sort of binding and excreting toxins from the body, what we actually need is quite a few amino acids to facilitate that process. So in particular, glycine, glutamine, cysteine, and what's the other one?
Taurine.
Taurine are really important for binding those toxins and basically ushering them out of our system. So I feel like a lot of detox programs and the kind of vibe around detox is to be low protein or even no protein. This can be a mistake.
Yeah, so doing like extreme juice fasts, water fasts, we're just not a big fan of them, because we do want to still be getting some of those amino acids. And don't get us wrong, this doesn't mean that you should be eating like a high protein diet, but just making sure that you do have a source of those amino acids is going to be really beneficial in supporting that pathway.
Yeah, because as we said at the very beginning of this video, the last thing that we want to do is activate all these toxins in the body by really supporting phase 1, but then completely letting the ball drop in phase 2, because then we're not getting rid of the toxins, which is really, really important. So yeah, just make sure you're eating enough protein from good quality sources. If you are doing juices or something, if you're doing a program, you could even just add some collagen peptides, and that would be excellent.
So tip number 5 for supporting detoxification is to eat plenty of cruciferous vegetables. So our cruciferous vegetables includes our broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts.
Kale.
Kale. That's all I can think of right now. Our cruciferous vegetables are really good at supporting that phase 2 detoxification as well because they're rich in our sulfur compounds. So we know that there's one pathway in our phase 2 that is actually called our sulfation pathway. So these compounds really help to support that particular pathway. I've said pathway so many times, you guys get the gist.
Yeah, so sulfation enables our body to excrete a whole range of different toxins from our environment, and also certain food compounds even that are occurring in natural healthy foods. So it's really important that we do support this pathway, and eating plenty of our cruciferous veggies is the way to go. So tip number 6 for supporting detox is to sweat it out. So you could either do sauna or do exercise, but it's all going to be really helpful because getting that sweat out is another pathway that we can excrete toxins.
So yeah, as we said in the beginning, like the main ones is through our bile, so our digestive tract, through our skin, so in our sweat, through our kidneys, so our urine, and then through our breath.
Yeah, so if you have an infrared sauna around, that is definitely something that would be a great option for boosting detox. But if not, and you don't want to spend the money as well, that's fine. You could also just do a bit more exercise, which is completely free, and as long as you get the sweat going, that's all that matters. Yeah. And it also is great to exercise because you're going to really get that lymphatic flow as well, which we know is going to help move toxins out of the body.
So tip number 7 is to start taking baths. So in particular, we like to bath with our Epsom salts or our magnesium sulfate.
Not the Lush bath bomb.
No Lush bath bombs. But again, taking baths with magnesium sulfate can really help to support that sulfation pathway because we're providing those lovely sulfur compounds.
Yeah, so basically all you need to do is pick up some Epsom salts. They're pretty widely available in health food shops or even the main supermarkets. But Epsom salts is going to be what you want because that is the magnesium sulfate, because you want to get that sulfate.
Yeah, so just doing baths with like 2 cups of your magnesium salts and soaking in that for about 20 minutes is going to be enough to really support that detox pathway.
Yeah, and I find that doing Epsom salt baths is really gentle, and so it's good for anyone on any, well, it's generally good for people on any stage of the health journey. So, you know, some different detox protocols and tips are going to be a little bit more heavy hitting. And so, for example, if you're in the midst of having a very leaky gut and having a lot of food reactions and things like that, something like a magnesium salt bath is going to be nice and gentle. So our 8th and final tip for supporting detox is to try out fasting, and in particular we wanted to chat about intermittent fasting.
So we like to see fasting as more of an advanced strategy when it comes to detoxification. When we fast, we basically allow our body to release toxins, and that's because we know that a lot of our fat-soluble toxins can be stored in our fatty tissue. And when we fast, we are primarily shifting our energy metabolism over to fat burning mode. So we're burning that fat and we're kind of liberating those toxins, which ultimately we want to get them out of our body, but
be gentle about it.
Yeah.
So definitely if you're feeling really healthy and you've been doing a great whole foods diet, you've cleaned up your gut health, this might be the next step for you. But we definitely would say err on the side of caution if you feel like there's still a lot of work that can be done with your diet and things like that.
Yeah.
Because the aim of the game is to gently detoxify, not to sort of max out the liver and have a bit of a meltdown, because there are stories out there of people who do these detox programs who
can become very, very sick.
So, a real bad time.
Yeah, so before you do anything, you do have to make sure that you're in a pretty solid state of health and that your gut's working well and kind of like all the foundational things are there.
Yeah, all systems are in place for you to sort of gently release this next layer of toxins, and everything's ready to go, and it's going to excrete those toxins well. So the other reason we say intermittent fasting is because you have that opportunity to actually eat and supply your body with what it needs. We're not talking about multiple day fasts and things like that. That's quite advanced. So for intermittent fasting, we'd be talking about things like just skipping breakfast. So your last meal of the day would be dinner, and then you go all the way through till lunch the next day. So like a good 16-hour window.
And yeah, like taking advantage of that time when you're asleep. So it's not like we're doing a whole day where you're not eating.
So those were our 8 tips. If you want to kind of dive into this a bit further, definitely go and check out the blog post at cultivatebeauty.com.au. And we also chatted about this at length on our podcast this week, so go and head to the podcast on iTunes or Stitcher. I'll have all the links below as we said earlier, but otherwise if you enjoyed this video, please leave it a big thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed to our channel, we would love it if you join us and hit the subscribe button below. And if you have any of your own detox tips, or if you have any questions about this topic, don't forget to leave them in the comment section below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. And other than that, we will see you guys in our next video. Bye guys.
Bye.